In this video, we'll walk through how to back up and restore your TiDB database so you can protect against data loss and sleep easy at night. Data loss is every engineer's worst nightmare, but fortunately, backing up TiDB is surprisingly straightforward. I already have a TiDB cluster running on a couple of virtual machines using a bare metal style installation, as opposed to something like the TiDB operator on Kubernetes. If you'd like to learn how to set up a cluster like this, I encourage you to check out the previous videos on this channel where we cover that process in detail. Like most operations on TiDB clusters, we're going to use the TiUP command line interface. To start, let me show you what we're working with. If we run the cluster display command, we can see our demo cluster along with several instances that are currently running. I'll also connect to the database using a standard MySQL client so you can see what data we have. We've created a simple employees table with some example records that we'll use as our test data throughout this demonstration. The tool we'll be using for our backup and restore operations is called TiDB-BR, which stands for TiDB Backup and Restore. If you don't already have this tool installed, you can easily download it by running the TiUP BR command. Once installed, you'll see that BR provides two key operations, backup and restore. This tool is designed to work with object storage services such as Google Cloud Storage or Amazon Web Services S3, which is where we'll store our backup files. Now, the S3 API has become something of a standard for object storage, even though it originated with Amazon Web Services. We're going to take advantage of this by using the S3 API to back up our data to Google Cloud Storage. To keep things straightforward and cost-effective, we'll create a bucket using cold line storage, and we'll keep most of the default settings as they are when we create the bucket. After the bucket is created, we need to set up access credentials. Navigate to the bucket's configuration or settings section and look for the interoperability tab. This is where we can create S3 compatible access keys for a service account. Under the section labeled Access Keys for Service Accounts, we'll generate a key that will give us credentials similar to AWS access keys. For simplicity in this demonstration, I'll use the default Compute Engine service account. When you create the key, you'll receive both an access key ID and a secret access key. Make sure to save both of these securely, as we'll need them in our backup commands. It's also crucial to verify that your bucket has the proper permissions configured for whichever service account you're using. With our credentials ready and permissions in place, we can now run our first backup using TiUP BR. We'll execute a full backup command and specify our S3 endpoint with the necessary credentials. Our bucket is named TiDB Demo Backups. It's also a good idea to provide a suffix for organizing our backups, such as today's date, which makes it easier to identify different backup versions later. We'll include the access key ID that we just created, along with the secret access key that was provided when we enabled the key for our service account. Now here's an important point. If you run this command as I first did, you might encounter an issue. The first attempt will likely fail because TiDB-BR assumes by default that it should connect to Amazon Web Services endpoints, since we haven't explicitly specified a custom endpoint. So let's run our backup command again, but this time we'll add a parameter to specify the S3 endpoint. We need to tell BR to use storagegoogleapis.com, which indicates that we want to use the S3 API compatibility layer provided by Google Cloud Storage rather than AWS. With this correction, the backup process looks much more promising. After a few moments, we get confirmation that the backup completed successfully. Let's verify this by checking our Google Cloud Storage bucket. As expected, we can see our backup with the date prefix we specified, along with metadata files and the actual data from our backup. Now let's simulate a real-world scenario where something goes wrong. To truly test our backup and restore process, I'll demonstrate what happens if data accidentally gets deleted. I'm going to delete all the records from our employees table, leaving it completely empty. Imagine this as a moment of panic where someone accidentally runs a delete command without a where clause. The table is now empty and we need to recover that data using our backup. The restore process is actually quite similar to the backup process. We simply change the command from backup to restore, keeping most of the same parameters. However, you'll notice that TiDB-BR gives us a warning. For safety reasons, it wants us to drop the entire database first to ensure we're not accidentally overwriting or merging data during the restore operation. This is a good practice because it prevents potential data corruption. So let's go ahead and drop the database as recommended. After dropping the database and confirming the operation, we can run the restore command. The process completes and we get confirmation that the restore operation was successful. But of course, let's verify this by logging back into our TiDB instance with the MySQL client. Looking at the results, we can confirm that both our database and our table have been successfully restored, and all of our employee records are back exactly as they were before we deleted them. Everything has been perfectly recovered from our object storage backup in Google Cloud Storage. If you'd like to support the channel, consider starting a free trial of our new design tool, which is linked in the description, and let us know what you think. We'll include all code and the diagram file in the description as well. If you have any questions, please post them in the comment section, and we'll do our best to respond. Thank you very much for watching to the end, and please enjoy responsibly.